I have a terrible feeling this will be trending on Netflix very soon. It's not a Netflix movie, but it is a new movie on Netflix. The Seventh Day has arrived. Should we rest in it or confess for having watched it? A renowned exorcist teams up with a rookie priest for his first day of training. As they plunge deeper into hell on earth, the lines between good and evil blur and their own demons emerge. So this is kind of like Training Day, but with priests and demons. Guy Pearce stars as Father Peter, a seasoned exorcist who has seen his fair share of horrors. Vadhir Derbez is Father Daniel, the protege who's in for one heck of a ride as he's assigned to ride along with Father Peter. Now the movie starts out with an exorcism that gets a little hairy and then jumps forward in time where we meet Father Daniel as he's getting ready to go out on his first day of demon expelling. The movie makes it seem like this is a common occurrence, so it's only natural that Fathers Peter and Daniel are called on to check on a boy who appears to be tormented. For some reason they have a contentious relationship right from the start. We can chalk it up to Peter's past and his issues, but it feels like the story rushes to this to avoid building out a ton of character development. The dialogue is stunted a lot of the time, and it makes it hard for the actors to sound natural in their delivery. The imagery in this can be dark and disturbing when it's not shrouded in shadows. And there's an ominous musical score that plays as scenes transition in an effort to create a foreboding atmosphere. Sometimes it works, other times not so much. And I think for this horror to be really effective, we need to care about the Padres. Unfortunately, we're just not given much to work with when it comes to Daniel. I mean, at least with Peter, we have a bit of his origin so we can see where his trigger points may lie. Because the story doesn't give us much with Daniel, any danger he may face seems kind of trivial, or at least inconsequential. There wasn't an opportunity for me to become really invested in him, so he was just another person on the screen that they rushed putting him into a situation. Vadhir Derbez as Father Daniel has a naive charm to him that does make him a little sympathetic. His exuberance makes sense and it is convincing, even if we don't get to know too much about him. Now, to instill some terror or intrigue, the film will swell the musical score and then slowly push in on a character's face. Sometimes this is a good effect, but it is used pretty often, so then it loses some effectiveness. And there is some intrigue and mystery built in as Daniel tries to help this young boy who committed a heinous crime while supposedly under the control of a demon. And I like what the story is trying to create. We watch Daniel get sucked into his case, and we see that it affects him both spiritually and emotionally. He's convincing in his discomfort and conflict, which helps to draw us into him. The dialogue, though, does work against this, so it's a constant battle to enjoy what's being shown as the script diminishes the effectiveness of the scenes because it either comes across as unnatural or stilted, like I had said. Now, some of the special effects are decent and they're effective. There is a scene where a character is lifted into the air, and while it was mildly exciting, it's barely shown, and instead the majority of the interaction is shown in a close-up of the character's face. It would have been way more effective to continue to show the interaction from multiple angles to show the character hovering in the air ominously. That would have been creepy. There's another scene that takes place in a very dark room, and we just get to see flashes of the action. It looks pretty cheap, and there's certainly no terror or suspense that comes with it, even though it's meant to be creepy and disturbing. This has a lot of the horror tropes that are used to try and create an atmosphere of tension and darkness. We have a character who walks down a dark hallway where the overhead lights flash sporadically, or characters turn slowly towards the camera to try and look into our souls. There are some unfortunate attempts at jump scares too. They weren't jumpy or scary, and we can see the setup coming from way off as a character peers into the darkness and then we hear that music swell. The scenes in this also alternate between what could be imagination and supposed reality, making it difficult to know if an event is really happening or if it's only in the mind of a character. When this happens, the gravity of the situation is minimized. It's reducing any tension that might have been built. Now, it could have been used as misdirection or as a view from an unreliable narrator, but that's just not what we get. This is a fairly quick watch at 87 minutes, but it does feel a little longer than that. So while this isn't as bad as The Devil Below, another horror that came to Netflix recently, this still isn't really worth the time to watch. This had a decent premise with the whole Training Day feels, but it just never gave us enough reason to really care, whether that was for the priests or the young boy they're trying to help. The development is lacking, and the scares or even thrills, they're just minimal. I mean, you're better off watching The Exorcist, Hereditary, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, or some of their higher quality horror if you're looking for an evil spirit-themed movie. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and some very brutal violence. I give The Seventh Day 2 out of 5 couches. So what's your go-to possession-type movie when you're in the mood for something creepy? I've heard The Taking of Deborah Logan is good, but I just haven't seen it yet. I'd love to know other suggestions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.